All right, let's call the meeting to order. This is the Town of Reading Select Board meeting, October 11, 2021. We're going to have a Zoom portion of this meeting too, and it's set up by Okemo Valley TV. We do have a few rules. When speaking, please identify yourself for the record. Please mute your microphone unless you're speaking. And due to technical issues, the chat function will be disabled for this meeting. Okay, that out of the way. Can everybody hear me on Zoom? Yep, okay. Changes to the following agenda. Do you have any?
I don't.
Okay, no changes to the following agenda. The minutes of the September 13th Select Board meeting. Should have a copy of it.
Move it as printed. Second it.
Okay. It's been moved to accept it and second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report for September. Revenue was $437,132.98. Expenditures were $118,631.64. Balance in Mascoma Bank is $1,070,218.73. Taxes are coming in. Delinquent taxes are $5,524.40. And
A couple of technical difficulties, but I think we're back on the air.
I'll move we accept the treasurer's report. Second.
Okay, treasurer's report, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Action items. The first item is highways, but Glenn is going to be off until about 6:30, so we'll postpone that till 6:30 when he shows up. Go into ARPA committee appointments. We received 10 applications, of which we need to choose 3. Have you looked them over at all?
I did, but I think like to break copies.
Okay.
Here they are.
I chose 5.
Yes, Lisa.
Could you explain the process for choosing members of the ARPA committee, please?
Yeah, we're looking over their qualifications and we're going to decide amongst ourselves who is best qualified for the position. Or the 5 positions.
Okay, Gordy, this is Annie Rubright. So you're going to choose 3, not 5?
We're going to choose 5.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 3. Thank you. Hi, Gordy.
Hey, this is Anna. Can you hear me?
Oh, never mind.
This is Anna. Can you hear me? Yeah, what are you deciding as qualifications for this position? Is it financial understanding? Is it needs of the town?
I couldn't hear your question.
I'm just looking to see what you're using as criteria for qualifications for the ARPA committee choose.
Mostly experience.
So experience with finances like ARPA funds, or the needs of the town, or the understandings of the workings of the committees in the town?
Well, we're looking at someone that's going to be responsible for getting the information out to the town, responsible for implementing the details on how the project is going to be designed, managed, constructed, inspected, reported. How is it going to benefit the majority of the taxpayers? I'm looking at all of these issues for the guidelines. I was gonna pick 5 members. I'm gonna have Bob pick 5 members, and I'm gonna have Jim pick 5 members. And we're gonna scrutinize those.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Hey, Gordy, it's Jean speaking. So we've got the procedure up to that point. So after you each scrutinize your 5 and pick your 5, how will you come together and determine who the 5 will be between the 3 of you? The 3 of you.
well, I'll ask for the reasons why each one of us think these 5 are the best.
When will you be doing that?
Hopefully tonight.
So that'll happen in this meeting or executive session, or how will you do that?
No, we're gonna try to do it in this meeting.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, I might as well go first. My 5 are Maria Caduto, Sarah Kobaleski, Rich Grogan, John Springer, and Bill Newcomb.
I sorted out the ones that I had decided that I thought would make good members as well. I had 1 additional.
Additional?
Yeah, I had 6 here. Gary Bitter. Same 5 that you had. Just
Okay.
1 additional.
Well, if there's 6 on the board, that's gonna be hard to get a,
No, I'm just suggesting that out of this, I now have 6 out of that and I picked 5.
okay, okay,
But I had Gary picked out as well. He lives right up the road here.
okay.
I don't know who this is.
My choice has been Rich Grogan, Bill Newcomb, John Springer. Maria Caduto. I'm trying to make up my mind between the last. I will go with Koblinski.
Who was your last one here?
Koblinski.
Koblinski.
I don't know her very well.
Fairly new to town, new resident.
She had a good resume.
She does.
Well, we've got 6, 5 and 5 and 6. We need to make 5, or we could have an alternate. How's that gonna work if we have an alternate? The al-
Well, it'd be known as the alternate, and the only time they could post is when somebody else is not participating at this regular scheduled meeting.
Mhm.
I almost think you'd be better off with an alternate, but sometimes it's a little hard to get everybody on board to be able to conduct business.
Well, with the 6, we could have 1 alternate. And you think we might want to have 2 alternates?
No,
Bob?
I'm saying,
One.
1?
got a couple here that are non-residents. Who is this? Is that Carol?
Mhm. Yeah, this is right, up top.
Okay.
So we're in agreement on several.
I think we're all in agreement. We gotta come up with who's gonna be the alternate.
All right, who are we
Do you
agreeing on?
let them pick? Just a question.
That would probably be wise.
Yeah, then you could choose who's going to be the chairman of that group. And then
Let them pick.
They-
let them pick their alternate.
Yeah, they have to follow the open meeting laws
Yep.
in all their meetings. So the
Right.
first one will be kind of an organizational meeting.
Exactly.
To find a chairman and a secretary to do minutes.
Right,
And
And
then
the
you could
alternate.
do it then.
and then they
And
let them
an
choose
alternate.
their alternate,
We'll give them the other information.
and that, whom they feel that they can best work with.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So the six are Caduto, Kobaleski, Grogan, Springer, Newcomb, and Vittum.
Joyce has a question.
Go ahead.
First of all, it's wonderful that you got 10 applications. That's, I just think that's great. I just wondered if you'd be good enough to just clarify. This committee will be an advisory committee to the select board, is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
So, and I probably should know this, I do not. It is the select board that will make the decision, the final decision as to how funds are distributed? Or is that the treasurer?
No, select board, based on the recommendation of the committee, as long as it follows all the guidelines.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I would just say that we've got some other people that have expressed an interest. And that this committee should utilize those people,
Absolutely.
as input. Along with any resident in town.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have this, all the applicants available to the committee members, say,
I would think.
these are sources of interested parties that would be willing to give information for the ARPA funding.
That would be my thought. That's up to the committee, I would guess. at this point.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so all those in favor of that, the committee? All right. Caduto, Kobaleski, Grogan, Springer, Vittum, Newcomb.
We have a question from Lisa. Kaya?
Lisa? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Can anyone attend an advisory level meeting?
Yes, they have to follow the open
Yeah,
meeting law.
open meeting law.
Open meeting.
Excellent. All right, and I just want to say, I think this is an outstanding group of human beings who have all had diverse experiences with nonprofits and other organizations, and I think they will each come with their own network of people and neighbors, et cetera. So I think this is a great group.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Now, we should, I guess, you would write a letter to each one of them saying that they were assigned
I'll
or
shoot an
appointed
email,
to the
yeah.
committee.
Should
Yeah,
all
that
email
shows-
more.
Mhm.
And then with the alternate, if any of them have changed their mind at this point in time, we still have 5. And then we can assign another alternate.
Or they
They will.
pick their own. Right?
Well, if they're down to 5, then we go back to the,
Go back to zero.
Okay, next item. Flashing speed sign update. So like I said, I went to Weathersfield and they have a unit and I've got a quote from the company that sold them theirs. It's pretty efficient little unit. It's weighs about 19 pounds. It's all self-contained. It has 2 batteries and a solar panel on it. And it can mount on its own pole. And they leave it out all winter long. It's virtually indestructible. It's mounted to, you can mount it to the pole, the town crew can mount it to the pole, there's nothing extravagant to it. And we could have it at a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, a 25. You could have it in different locations. I got a quote for 2. And the quote for 2 with the batteries and the 80-watt solar panel was $5,975. That's a $300 delivery fee. They're 6 to 8 weeks out before you could get them. I have not reviewed, have not gone on to see if we can get a grant for that. But the town of Weathersfield did get a grant for their signs.
They get that through, right?
The Governor's Highway Safety Council. And I didn't know, maybe Otis Monroe might be able to help us out down at Mark with that grant.
Mhm.
They're into that quite a bit, aren't they?
Somebody there would be, I'm sure.
Yeah. But like I said, I've only got 1 quote. I've been to Barnard. Barnard has a different type of sign. But I think they're all pretty much same capacity. Some of them have, I think in Woodstock, they have the flashing blue lights if you're going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. I don't know if this particular unit has that capability. But again, I only had 1 quote. I don't know if you want me to get 3 quotes and check them over, but it's kind of a unique item and it looks like everything is about the same price. And then I didn't know if we wanted to use 2 or get 3. Where do we want to put them? Put them 2 on 106 and switch them out once in a while, put one up on Tyson Road, put one up in South Reading. They're fairly portable, so we could move them around if need be.
Can you put them on the state highway?
I think so. Yep. Weathersfield's got theirs on Route 5. Yep.
Guess you have to go through AOT on that, right?
I talked to Chief Daniels and he said he didn't. It's right there beside the speed limit sign.
Really?
He said no permits were needed.
All right, so that's 3,000 bucks a piece.
Correct.
Where's that come out of the budget?
We don't have any money. We don't have it.
Then do we want to predicate that on getting a grant or taking it up for next year's when it's budget time, putting it in the budget for next year?
Either or both. If we can get a grant that covers 80 or 90% of it,
Yeah.
maybe we could find the other.
Well, if you can get 80%, 90%, maybe we can find enough somewhere to get it on order right off.
You can always,
Well,
is there any discount by buying 2 or can you buy 1 at half this price?
yes, you can buy 1 at half this price. Each unit is $2,250. Discounted price to $21,3750 with $100 for the batteries, $500 for the solar panels, and $300 shipping.
I know Ludlow has one coming off Route 100 down into the village of Ludlow. And it seems to make a difference. People do recognize it. What's kind of odd though is they're going a whole lot faster right up through the main street of Ludlow. I'm not sure how much good it's going to do. But there's only, the only way you're gonna find out is put them up there.
Yeah, I think having just a couple of them and move them around from time to time, if they're in one place all the time, people get used to it and they don't pay any attention to it.
Well, with no money in the budget and no knowledge of a grant, I would think, number one, I'd like to see another quote. I don't know if you can get one or not.
Yep.
In a timely fashion. But number two, if the price is the same, depending on what the grant says, if we can get one, why wouldn't we start with one and then budget for the other one or two in the next budget year?
Mhm.
Just a question. Unless the grant is a one-time grant, then we'd have to regroup and decide what we wanted to do. But if the grants are readily available from year to year to year,
Mhm.
Weathersfield bought theirs in 2019. And since then, I've seen one in Barnard. I haven't seen that many others around, but I'm sure that they're going. This guy says he's got $13,000 installed in 8,000 communities worldwide. So they're starting to become popular. 5 years ago, we was looking at that one on the trailer for $8,000.
Right.
Now we're looking at them for $2,500 mounted on a pole. So technology's advancing quite a bit.
Sherry has a question.
Sherry, go ahead.
So this was actually a question I was going to ask in other, but so if you want me to wait, I can wait. But since you're bringing up the signs and the budget, I'm just wondering if, well, let me just backtrack this a little bit. When I was on the school board, we used to report on the budget, and I know you do a treasurer's report, but we used to report on if there are any any line items that were under or over, kind of the status of the budget month by month. So I'm bringing it up now because you're talking about these signs and there's no money in the budget. But what I'm wondering about is where's the budget at right now? Are there any line items that are under enough to move over into to be able to pay for maybe one of these speed signs? And I can follow up the rest of my budget question in other.
I would think with what we've done already for pay for the highway crew, that's gonna take up any extra funds that might have been available, and then some.
Mhm.
the one thing, Sherry, just to answer your question, is that we have a lot of expenses that right now the budget will show very, very small amounts of money, looking like we have a ton of money left over. But then come January, which is still part of this fiscal year, the first part of the new calendar year, they all come in. So we'd have to take a real close look at that
At that time.
and see what the numbers really are. But we can do that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, mostly I'm just asking because of the signs. I mean, I have another budget question, but I can wait for that. But yeah, I mean, if it makes sense to scour through the line items and project what you expect to be coming in, maybe you can scrounge up a couple $1,000 somewhere. I don't know.
That's possible, but I can give you a couple of examples, like salt. We haven't spent any money hardly at all yet. Come winter, we'll spend it like crazy. Same with diesel fuel, things like that. So most of the cost of government and the public service comes out pretty close to budget every year, unless there's something special in there I'm forgetting.
Mhm.
But we can take a look. So I think it'll have to come out of the highway fund if we can find anything.
Okay, thanks.
Just some information for you guys. The Sheriff's Department did do some speed studies. We got several here. On 9/16/21, it's a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. They did it at Tyson Town Hall. They was on Tyson Road in the Town Hall. 6:30 to 7 a.m. There was 17 counts. The average speed was 27. Here's another one on Benjamin Drive, 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. There was 63 counts, and 41 was the average speed limit. There was one person over 15 miles an hour. Another one, 106, center of the village, 11. This is a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. They had the average speed at 33. There was one at 10 miles an hour over. Another one on Tyson Road up at Niagara Street, 19 studies, 19 cars. The average speed was 26 miles an hour, one over 10 miles an hour. Here's another one on Niagara Street on 924, 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. There was 19 checks. The average speed was 27. And there was two over 15 miles an hour. So there is a few outliers, but most of the time, everybody's pretty much following the speed limit. That was done from 9/16 to 9/24. So you think I'll get another quote?
Well, if it's easy to get.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, just go call up, get a quote, and I'll check with,
I can call Ludlow,
yeah,
town manager there in Ludlow.
see what he's got for equipment.
Yeah.
And then I'll check with Mark to see what they can point us at, what the availability of a grant is.
All right.
Any other questions on the speed sign? Liquor license for Hall Art Foundation.
Yes. We have an application for a liquor license. It's a new license. It's to serve from their little cafe that they have.
This is down.
In the reception center.
In the reception center.
That's across the road from the barn. From the-
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's a brand new license. It's basically like all the other liquor licenses in town,
Mhm.
except it's a new one.
Okay.
She also has a request for outside consumption just on the little patio area. It's there.
Does it say what they're using? Is it wine, alcohol, regular booze?
Wine.
Wine.
Wine. I
No beer,
believe.
no.
Basically, what they want to do is to be able to sell their apple,
Cider.
is that what it is?
Cider.
Wine, cider, whatever,
Apple
whatever
cider.
it is that they make
Yeah.
is what they like to do. The outside consumption one is a different license. But it's limited May through November annually from 10 to 4. Because that's when they're open, basically. I
Just
guess.
May through November.
Yeah, for the outside.
Oh, for the
For
outside.
the outside consumption one that they put in, that's a separate fee and stuff for that.
And
That's
the
only-
inside one?
What's that, $125 or something?
No, it's $20 to the state,
Oh, the outside.
the outside one. Yeah, the other one is 115 to us and 115 to the state.
Is there a time frame on the one inside? Well, they're only open till 5
Yeah,
anyway,
they're only open until, no,
9 to 5 or 10 to 5,
yeah, I
whatever.
mean, it's only when they're open,
And they're not open every day
and they're
either.
not open every day either, right?
Are they open through the winter?
I don't know that. The outside one would not be, obviously. I don't know what their hours are.
Okay.
We have a question from Lisa Kaya.
Go ahead,
Just-
Lisa.
Lisa knows.
Just a response, yeah, we're open from the first week of May through the end of Thanksgiving. And right now we only serve, well, we only have for purchase a non-alcoholic IPA. There are no wine or beers available right now.
How many days a week, Lisa?
Right now, just Saturdays and Sundays, unless I have a private tour, which sometimes happens during the week.
Just the weekend, basically.
Yeah.
You need a motion to.
So moved.
Yeah, second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Can sign those when we sign their stuff.
Next on the agenda, Zoom meeting and future equipment purchase.
So I think that is Jerry Marletta or Carol Garner.
Hey guys, sorry. I was on mute and didn't realize it. All right, so in response, I wasn't at the last meeting, but coming out of that, one of the things that I did that I thought could help to further allow us to use Zoom going forward for the select board or any other town meeting, they basically put together a full equipment list, soup to nuts for everything minus a laptop, for all equipment that would be needed to provide audio for everyone remote as well as in the room, including being able to provide audio for anyone sitting in the back of the room. So including a loudspeaker to help anybody who's in the space, whether it's, like I said, for the select board or any other meeting, and includes a cart. You know, the idea being that this is the kind of thing that can be sort of pre-wired and ready to go, as long as there's a human being that is comfortable with the turning it on and placing mics, that everything's ready to just be set up for any of these meetings. All in, it's about $1,500. And obviously it would be owned by the town and would live assuming in town hall. I'm happy to share the full list. I used Sweetwater to spec out 95% of the equipment. And then I used a sort of an industrial supply website just to get a quote on the actual cart that all the equipment could live on. But the idea is that everyone would be mic'd, everyone would be able to hear, everyone would be able to see, and we would need a human being, obviously, to run that. I think I've mentioned in the past, if this is something that we do want to move forward with, I can make myself available as much as possible, but I think it would be good to have someone else on hand who is able to be taught how to set things up and how to control the audio equipment during the meetings. And I'm happy to teach whomever that may be how to do that. The question now that has come up is who and how should we go about purchasing that? Whether is that something that the select board can review and come to a determination of that the town pays for that? Is it something that, if that's not the case, that if there are committees within the town that have funds that are willing to donate to that, is there a certain amount we need to cover and then the rest kind of comes right out of the town budget? If an individual purchases it, can it be reimbursed or partially reimbursed or gifted? The idea here is that we've got a few different avenues to get there. I'd like to see it happen. I'd like to help facilitate it happen as much as possible.
Hey, Jerry,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
I
You
can.
reduce that to writing somehow so that we've got something to look at with the suggestions you just made for funding?
yeah, absolutely.
I have a question for Jerry.
Yeah.
Did that include provision for hardwiring the thing to an Ethernet cable?
It did not. So as we sort of heard or experienced in the beginning of this meeting, we are kind of at the mercy of the wireless connection within the room there. I don't know where the router is physically located within town hall, but pretty much wherever it is, the Ethernet cable run you would need to even just drop it in place somewhere, loose, not run through the walls, it'd be a nominal cost. So that is a really good idea and wouldn't hurt to have. As I mentioned, it also doesn't include the actual computer itself. So that unfortunately is pricey. That may be the kind of thing that, depending on who's showing up on that evening to run it, uses a personal device. I'm happy to do that with my own device. But if we have like an alternate or a substitute, it may be good if they have a device that they'd be willing to bring.
Okay. I think, it's great that you have some funding sources you're considering within town. I would tell the selectmen that I think, everybody uses this, all the committees and stuff. And I think it would be a real worthy priority for any ARP money to be spent on. And even to the extent that if there's a problem putting an Ethernet cable to the town router to get a different router specifically for this, I think, you know, like I say, everybody in town uses it, and I think that should be the real high priority on the ARP money. Thanks.
Thanks. Jerry, I got one follow-up question.
Sure.
Did your number include a reasonably large monitor like we're looking at here now?
No, it did not.
It did not.
No.
West Windsor went down to the transfer station and picked one out of the
Rubbish?
yeah, out of the bucket, a little while. Took it home, ingenious, tested it and it worked. And they said, take it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd be that lucky, but that's how they got theirs. It must be a 40-inch screen.
Yeah. Gene?
Hi, thanks. Yeah, just want to follow up on what Kurt said about hardwiring and the router. Just a little, would take a little bit of finding out whether or not, I think you're on Comcast there in Robinson Hall, whether or not you're directly off of the Comcast modem, which is also a router. If you used a third-party router, you would be able to segment the network so that you could have a network that is separate from, for instance, the office computers. So you have security there in terms of kind of a built-in firewall, be able to provide internet for Zoom meetings without that being any kind of security risk to anything else in the offices.
That's good.
We
Good
would
point.
have to do that. We would have to.
Yeah. I think our internet service provider is going to change to EC fiber.
Right, if we could get them.
We're in the process of trying to get that secured, but it should be a faster process.
Do we want Jerry to see about getting the monitor too, or?
Yeah,
just
Jerry,
for
Yeah, I think you
cost
should.
purposes?
turnkey.
Turnkey, absolutely.
Yeah, I can do that. I can take a look. I can add a display to that. Sort of as a separate line item, I'll include a laptop. The obvious frustrating thing with computers is they kind of, I can't think of the word, but every 3 to 5 years, you're going to need a new one. So we'll try to identify something that's kind of mid-range that'll support what we need, but hopefully won't break the bank every few years.
I think the word you were looking for, Jerry, was check refresh.
Yes. Forced obsolescence.
Any comments on how this Zoom meeting is working? Is everybody satisfied with what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sound is,
Okay.
sound is great. You can see you well. It's good.
And hear you well. Great.
Hey, this is Anna, and I can tell you this is Anna. We went from a soccer game to a car ride home, and now we're home. So it's been working fantastic on my end. I've had to reconnect, but I appreciate it being set up so that we can be there and not have screaming children with us. So thank you.
Okay.
All right. Gordy, can I make a comment?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I don't know about the rest of these numbers here, but I've got to say that one of the things I see as a negative to this stuff is we can't see anybody. I have no idea how many people are watching this meeting at all from our standpoint. So, it's more of an incentive for me to probably the next time you go on Zoom. Just a comment. I can't, I have no idea how many members we have.
We can't see how many are on there. We can only see when a person speaks. Then that person will show up here.
Just as a comment to that, Gary, West Windsor, when they set theirs up, it's a big TV, so they put it way down to that end of the hall. And then you step
That
out.
would be helpful. I'm not speaking to these guys, but for myself, it'd be nice to be able to see who's involved in the meeting. I don't have a clue.
Mhm.
We might have to.
Well, there again, as Gordy was saying at the beginning of the meeting, that people are supposed to identify themselves. So so that's not happening.
One or two of them took me a minute or two to recognize their voice, but you're right, Dean.
Could I ask the people in the audience to also identify themselves? Thank you.
That's very good. I'm go
Yeah, let's get some more information.
Get some more information and we'll
Again, we got a budget.
keep this going. Yep, yep. Next item is the hazardous mitigation plan update. This is, Bob is the expert on that right now.
You, don't you dare go there.
We've had, this hazardous mitigation plan is a plan that the towns all go through to get themselves ready in case there's an emergency, like another Irene that comes through or something like that. So we've formalized this every 5 years. Yeah. So the 5th year is coming up now. We solicited 5 companies to help us manage this plan. We received 2 quotes back as of right now. So far, we haven't received the other 3. So I think we've got to get the other 3 to give us information, give us a quote on it. We've got to solicit them. I think we got 1 quote for 7,500 and another one for 10,000.
Round figures.
Round figures, something like that, but we have to, I don't know the specific deadline of when this mitigation plan has to be completed, but it's shortly, within the next month or so.
No. 2023.
Oh, that's 2023?
Yeah, the end date is, hang on a minute, as soon as I can find it on here. May 29th, 2023.
So part of this process is the persons that help us make up this plan. They've got anywhere from 75 to 120 hours involved in this plan to, and part of it is a public input section of the plan. And so we've got to get the process started. I think that what our best thing to do now is solicit these other 3 applicants to see if they still want to quote.
Well, we're down to 2, Gordy. I got an email one day last week that I found after I talked with you.
Okay.
And the lady expressed her regrets, but her comment was there is no way that we would tackle this project now because we're short-staffed. And that's an engineering firm, or a consulting firm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems to be the answer to everything all over. the place.
Yeah.
So I will follow up with the other 2 for you.
Okay.
See what they're gonna do, if anything.
Okay. More information.
This is, just for your information, this is the plan. It's 40-some, how many pages, John?
No, 47. And then there's a whole bunch of maps that go with it that you
That's-
can get.
It's 40 pages with the maps. It's very detailed. There are some things in here that we don't really have to worry about. It talks about dam failure, and you would immediately say, well, we don't have dams in Reading, but we do, because we have ponds throughout the town, everywhere. And that was one of the problems with Irene, was one of the ponds went out at the same time the Beaver Dam went out. All tried to come down the Black River at the same time. So there are some things that you can breeze over pretty quickly, and then there are other things that are very, very detailed and need some study, and that's why they give you, well, almost 2 years to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And there is public hearings required.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Health officer update. I think we've got,
We've had somebody apply that would be, the select board could appoint to be deputy and work with Mary until the 1st of the year. Mary's agreed to stay on until the 1st of the year. to work with Claire Kilbride.
Is she a nurse? What are her
I
qualifications?
sent you her resume,
You did.
and I don't
What did you
have
send it
a
on?
copy. Snail mail. I don't have a, I gave you all a copy of it.
Yes.
It's a 4 or 5 page document. I don't have a copy right here. She is an RN. She works at Dartmouth right now.
Okay.
She's done some home health care work. She's worked for, is it Beta out of Rutland? That was like visiting nurses. She's done some of that. She's been doing this for a nurse for quite some time.
Her name again is?
Claire Kilbride, and she lives up on North Pucker Brush.
Just before the, no, second house before the Brown Schoolhouse intersection.
Okay.
They've been in town for quite a few years now. And she has wanted to be involved, but didn't really want to step on anybody's toes. And when it came up, she jumped. I had an email, the first time I put it out on Front Porch Forum, I had an email, I came into an email from her that next morning.
Sounds like an opportune time.
Yeah,
I had a personal conversation with her about 2 weeks ago, and she's really interested.
I've given her a lot of information. Mary, she's met with Mary.
Now, we have to recommend her to the state, and it's the
Yes.
state that wants.
Yes, as a deputy until the first of the year. I have a form here. You guys. do
So,
it.
I would so move that we appoint her as the deputy health officer.
All right, second, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That's good that we can have a health officer now.
Glenn on?
Glenn, you there?
Here he is.
Highways up next.
All right, I don't know how well this is working. Mine keeps cutting out. Let's see, we finished up the 2 grant work projects on North Pucker Brush. Those are all completed. Now we're on to roadside mowing and blowing the leaves out of the ditches and straightening up the roads. And by the end of this week, we're gonna be checking out all the equipment, make sure it's ready for sanding and plowing and making sure everything's ready to go. Other than that, it's business as normal.
Truck's working okay?
Well, we got the green truck back, the International, and just got the final bill back from that one. That's not a good one, but other than that, everything else is working all right.
are we gonna try and get the roadsides mowed?
They're doing-
No, we're just started doing that, and we had a setback. We blew a hose on the mower, so we're waiting. And tomorrow or Wednesday, we should have the hose for it. They had to order the ends for it. And then we'll
I
be back
see,
in business there.
Is that what you were using to cut the brush back on the Reading Tyson Road?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now just don't forget to drop that thing down the next patch you make. And get the grass.
Yeah, I told them to do it one at a time, either mow the grass and then do the brushing back, or brush it back first and
Okay,
then mow the grass.
no problem.
Gary, you have a question?
Gary Biddle. Hey Glenn, they went out and tried to flush out that culvert on Agony. You might want to go up and look at it, but there was a big rock in the middle of it, and they couldn't push it out. So we'll go back up and see if there's anything else we can do. What's that?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. And we have the little excavator now. I think we're gonna take a pole and try to ram it down through there to push all the stuff out of it.
Okay, well, if you need us again, just let us know.
That's not what
Okay.
The water
I don't know.
up on Agony.
Agony, yeah.
Huh?
Is that why that culvert didn't take the water
When
a month ago?
No.
No, we were stone chimney.
Stone chimney.
That was stone chimney.
That was so cheap, right,
Yeah,
That was just volume.
yeah.
just, okay.
Anything else on highways?
He covered it. I was
He
just
did?
going to bring you up to date on grants.
Okay, all right. All right. That brings up all the action items. Other, have any others? Anybody want to talk about?
Sherry,
Sherry?
Hi, it's Sherry Macri. So back to my a budget question. I'm thinking about our new town meeting format, that it's informational only. And I don't know your exact timeline, but I know that town reports end up, you guys have to have your town reports pretty soon, sometime in the next few months, I believe. I don't know exactly. Anyway, my question is, when do you plan to have your budget planning meeting? Because that's going to be the time when people will be able to have a say now that we have this new town meeting format.
Esther and I have been working on the timeline for things. We just started working on it today. And we will, once we get it together, there'll be information, there'll be budget informational meetings, there'll be budget meetings, and there'll be regular meetings, they'll be open to the public. So they will be publicized, there'll be an agenda, they'll be on the website, they'll be posted.
Okay, so
Yeah. We're
So
we're working on the timeline right now, so.
okay. Yeah, okay,
Sherry,
so then,
just-
oh, sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Just to answer your question, we have to have the final number for the January select board meeting. So it's not until January.
Oh, okay, so basically, so between because it's October, so in other words, you'll do budget planning November, December.
December probably.
December probably.
Okay, and that'll be on your agenda. It'll say it on the agenda, budget planning. or
There'll
whatever.
be different meetings. It will not be in a select board meeting. There'll
Oh,
be
it'll be
separate meetings.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Any others? Gary?
Gary Bill. We just briefly talked about a little bit with EC Fiber. Have you heard anything from this group?
No,
EC Fiber?
I'm gonna send him an email, but I have not.
I left him a
Did you,
message.
you haven't talked to him since we talked then?
But who do you guys go to, John Malcolm?
Yes,
Okay.
he usually is really good about getting back to me. I kind of I've not gotten in touch with him.
Because I've been
since
getting
we
hold of him for
talked.
some other stuff that we got going on at Friday.
You have a little substation up there, right?
Yeah,
Is that activated yet? It is.
so there's something that we should probably get together and talk about with the EC Fiber.
We should get a hold of Jim Malcolm.
And we've been talking about it a little bit at the library as well. So I know that obviously that came from Janet, right? So it came from John. So it's a conversation we're having as well. So it sounds like the three of us are all kind of at the beginning of this whole, it might become real soon, I guess.
But we have it, right? I'm just concerned it hasn't gotten all the way down. I just wondered where we.
Yeah, because supposedly it's down here. And
It's at my house.
it's at my house.
Yes.
It's that way, but
I think
it's supposed to be here.
Yeah, I think at the library, like all we would have to do right now is just tell John go. And I think we could have it, we can't at the library, we're in contract through this fiscal year with Comcast. So we can't do anything at the library, but I think it's ready to go for us. And
You're not on that anymore. Oh, you are, okay, all right, so I don't.
It should be ready. We had to call and activate ours, but we're set up on EC Fiber now.
I'm just surprised the town is not. I mean, that's pretty important.
Nobody's told me it's here to do that.
Oh, you don't even know if
I don't
the
even know
cable's
if
here.
the cable's here to do that. That's what I need to talk to John about, and I will get in touch with him tomorrow.
It's very
Hey,
small.
everyone. This is Jerry Marletta. I'm our alternate delegate in town. I'm not aware of anything that may have been shared directly with John, but if you guys want to email Reading at ecfiber.net, John and I will both get it. I can circle up with him and see what and where he's at with things, and also try to get some answers in case he hasn't been able to get started on any of it.
Jerry, what was that email?
It's Reading, the town name, at ecfiber.net.
Okay.
That's the distribution that goes to the delegates for our town.
I will email that tomorrow. Then.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yep.
We have a question from Jackie and then Jean.
Go ahead, Jackie. You're muted. I think you're muted.
Okay, there, am I ready?
Yep.
Okay, just for consistency's sake, I'm a little bit out of the parties dealing with this, but it's certainly a controversial and statewide sort of kind of subject. So I'm just wondering, have we heard anything from our lawyer that's supposed to support the zoning board's decision?
No, we're not allowed to comment on that
Oh, why?
because we're not allowed to comment on that.
It's in litigation. We can't comment on anything in litigation right now.
I see. But were you all, according to the last meeting, sending towards him or towards whatever constituency board we may be all part of, suggesting that he support our zoning board's elected decision?
Same comment. We're not allowed to comment on it.
Oh. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just a little bit confused about that because I thought we were going to, as of the last meeting, decide if we were going to ask him to support the decision that the zoning board had approved and wanted. So I didn't know if you guys were going to be supporting that or if I thought you were going to talk to him about who he was supposed to support, the zoning board's decision or anyway, I'm sorry. Maybe I don't understand everything well enough, but I thought I'd bring it up because it was a very tenuous subject that was brought up at the last meeting.
Sorry.
We're not allowed to comment on it.
Okay, so if you're not allowed to comment on it, we can't ask any questions. How do we find out anything about that? I mean, I'm not part and parcel to what's going on, but I did find it a little bit complicated and therefore wanted to know what was going on, if the zoning board got to call the shots or if the select board was going to overrule the zoning board's decisions.
Well, I think we can say we're not going to overrule it.
No.
So in other words, the lawyer will most likely support the zoning board's decisions in any kind of court. Are we going to suggest that he does that or
We
is it?
can't comment. It's in litigation. We cannot comment.
Okay, then maybe I don't know enough. Okay, all right. Well, I was just curious if that had progressed at all because that seemed to be a pretty deeply involved subject on the last meeting.
Next question is Jean.
Yes, Jane.
Hi, thanks. Actually, this is back to Sherry's question on the budget and the budget meetings. So Callista said that there'd be separate meetings. It wouldn't be done in the actual select board meeting. So I'd just like to know how we will be notified of when those meetings are so that we could attend.
There'll be agenda put out and it'll be posted on the website and in the town hall.
Will you post it on the Front Porch Forum, so we could also just have, or do we just have to keep looking at the website every day to find out when a meeting is?
Guessing there'll be updates in this meeting.
Yeah, by November, we'll certainly have some dates firmed up for the November meeting.
So
I know
mostly,
by November, we'll have
we're,
what the agenda is for each budget meeting.
okay, so we're responsible for going to the town website and just keeping track of that and finding out when those
No.
meetings might be scheduled, or you'll.
In November, we will have it posted of when the meetings take place.
Okay, so in November at your next meeting, then, that's when you'll know.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any others? Callista?
I have a couple different things. One of them is Esther and I are looking for permission to get rid of all the cardboard and junk that's accumulated upstairs. Mostly off by the men's room, there's that whole wall of just stuff that's been there for years, and we'd like to get rid of it.
Whose is it?
That's the whole, I mean, a lot of this goes back to when Huddled Up was here doing stuff, which has been years, when Libet had her plays up here. They're all parts of pieces of stage stuff. It's all big cardboard pieces. It's taken up a lot of room, and we'd like to get the town guys to bring a truck down so that we could get rid of it.
That would be going to the transfer station.
A lot of it probably in their burn pile. It's cardboard and it's pieces of wood holding
Wood
it
frame.
together.
Yeah, I know what it is.
So there's no value to it?
People have left this stuff here for years and nobody has taken it anywhere or said they wanted it.
Take a look at it at the meeting.
Yeah, probably.
Have at it. I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Should we contact any committees and say, if you have things up here you
Well,
want?
we'll put it out here in the minutes tonight, and if
Yeah.
anybody has any interest in it, then they should get in touch ASAP and get it out.
Yeah.
Because it's taken up a lot of room that we need up there, especially now, we've got to get everything cleaned up and the chairs all put back and everything. And it's just taken up, and it's been there for, some of that stuff's been there since BC, which is before Callisto, and that's over 10 years now. So it's time to just we're trying to clean this up a little bit.
So I'll put it in the minutes and have committees come in and clean up what they want, and if not, we'll clean it up.
Do you want to put a drop dead date on that? And if you're going to wait only X number of days?
Absolutely, and it's gonna be soon, or then later.
I'll spell it out so they can't say.
I mean,
they didn't.
I would think by November 1st.
You brought a pickup, didn't you?
True enough, it doesn't have a dump body. Sure it would.
Do you have any others?
The other thing is that the planning commission has decided that they're not going to put their minutes in the informer anymore. So we're gonna have some room, so we'd like some.
Why is that?
Why?
There's two members on here that they could maybe answer that better than I can. Steve said that they were, because they're abbreviated minutes, I'm guessing.
Because they're what?
It's a,
Abbreviated minutes.
it's a public meeting.
They do an abbreviated version for the informer because their regular ones are 6 pages or better sometimes.
Oh, is that the ones they're not putting on?
No, they're not gonna put them in the informer at all anymore. Steve is sending a note to say that they're available on the website and a copy is available here in the
I don't
town.
like it.
I'm just bringing up what I've been told. So.
I think any town committee or function should put some minutes in the informer.
I wish we could get them so we could. I mean, we pull them when we have them. In time. I mean, timing is an issue on some of them. as to when the informer goes out too.
We have a question from Carol.
Go ahead, Carol.
Basically, I think that it's important to put even abbreviated minutes in there so that if something is of interest, the person can go to the website and read the whole thing. I don't think that it should be totally on the website. That's my opinion. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you.
Jean?
Kurt Hoyt, you're on. Can you shed some light on this?
Jean raised her hand.
Kurt's here, Kathy's here, but if they don't want to speak, I can shed light on it.
Go. Who from the planning commission would like to speak?
This is Jean. I'll speak on behalf of the Planning Commission, just to clarify that. First of all, the reason for it is that the minutes are have been long, and it's been taking a long time for the secretaries to take those, and then they have to do an additional copy of abbreviated minutes. So it's a very tedious process in order to fit those into the informer. So that's why the discussion came up. However, and I'm not 100% sure of this, I'd have to review our minutes, but I'm pretty sure what we ended on in our meeting was that for the time being, until we have a permanent secretary, that we are asking the informer, that would be Callista and Esther, to put a small blurb in the informer each month pointing to the minutes, so that there wouldn't be nothing in the minutes, but that we would remind people that the Planning Commission met and that the minutes are available on the website, and that they're available paper copy posted to the bulletin board outside a town office. So it's kind of a temporary way until we get a full-time secretary again, because we're just rotating through different people right now, and it's just a lot to ask of the members.
No, that's a little better, but
Do they have any, do you have any potential candidates in mind for secretary?
I'm not aware of any right now, Jim, but we just met last week. You know, we all just go back to the hunt again to try to find some people. I do think Steve Straight had spoken to someone, and he's going to follow up on that, but it's too soon for me to know whether or not that's, you know, a potential or not.
Okay.
Thank you, Jane.
is that all of it, Callista?
Carol's waving her hand.
Carol would like to speak.
Okay,
Could I-
Carol?
Could I just add that they put a time limit? Because I think it would be very easy to slip into not putting anything in the informer. I think maybe they say if they can't find that for 6 months, they can put it just on the website. Otherwise, it's a very important committee meeting right now. And I don't think it should just be relegated to, oh, look at the website. I think you should put a time limit for how long they can do that. Thank you.
Carol, any interest in being a planning commission secretary?
I can't type. I'm a two-finger typist. It's not the right job for me.
Got anything else?
Anybody?
What if we did a rolling basis of secretary? Because I could commit, like every 3 months, I'd commit to a meeting to taking notes.
What was that?
You know, if we could get 4 or 5 volunteers to, you know, one day when we're attending select board, we would take the notes.
Hi.
Yeah.
Right, it's got to go to Steve.
Kurt, go ahead.
Yeah. In case people don't know, we've been looking desperately for a secretary, and we would welcome one ASAP. In the interim, We're rotating among the members to do it. And we're volunteers, and we've been really busy with town plan updates and all that. And whoever turn it is spends about between, the meeting and then transcribing stuff at home, about 4 hours of uncompensated time in addition to being a planning commission member. And we have offered outside people that do it $25 to do it. And given, the time that it's involved, even for an outside person, that's not much. And that's discouraged, I think, applicants. And I would hope that when the new budget is considered at the town level, more money would be allocated for that sort of stuff to the planning commission. Thanks.
Lisa Kyle?
Yeah, I have a question regarding the minutes. I think it's probably less expensive to put a piece of paper that is much longer than what is desired in there with the notes that the people are taking than trying to pay large amounts of money for the next 6 months or whatever for someone to hire someone as a secretary. Hopefully we'll get somebody who will be working under a standard operating procedure and making good notes, unlike, a 6-page summary of what happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Good point. Joyce, go ahead.
I'm sorry, my comment has to do with something other than minutes. So if somebody else wanted to speak, I'll defer to them until that conversation has concluded. I guess there isn't anyone that's going to talk about it. I just wanted to say, someone in the room there had mentioned that they couldn't see or didn't know how many people were on Zoom. I think it's important to note that up until just a moment ago, excluding the select board, we had 23 participants on Zoom. So on the gallery, the Zoom gallery, there are 23 participants, which is pretty amazing. And just thank you to Mark and Amit and to Okemo and Jerry and anybody else that was involved in making this happen. The quality is, from our point of view, the quality of the audio and the video is great. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Anything else?
Move we adjourn. Second.
All right. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming.